On Monday, May 27, 2025, a tense atmosphere gripped the Los Angeles federal courthouse as Sean "Diddy" Combs faced charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution. Despite his confident demeanor, an underlying tension betrayed his public image. Presiding over the high-profile case, federal judge Arun Subramanian maintained a strict vigil. That day, Brianna Bongolan, a friend of Diddy's ex-partner Cassie Ventura, took the stand. She testified about alleged control and abuse Cassie endured, detailing lavish parties at Diddy's Miami mansion where Hollywood stars gathered and young women were allegedly exploited. Brianna described Diddy's alleged violent outbursts and revealed he once took Cassie's passport in March 2020. During her testimony, Diddy was seen repeatedly nodding vigorously towards the witness stand, then to the jury box. Judge Subramanian immediately halted proceedings, his voice booming. "Mr. Combs, I have made it explicitly clear that there are to be no facial expressions, no gestures directed at the jury." He warned Diddy any further attempts to engage with jurors would result in him being barred from his own trial. Diddy's face paled as he reluctantly complied. The incident sparked immediate public outrage and media speculation, with legal experts condemning Diddy's actions as a potential attempt to sway the jury. While Judge Subramanian didn't dismiss the current jury, he issued a stern warning. Further misconduct could lead to a mistrial and the selection of an entirely new jury, a rare and costly move that would significantly delay the proceedings. This latest twist added to a trial already packed with explosive testimonies detailing Diddy's alleged network of exploitation and control. Diddy's May 27th jury interaction sparked immediate outrage. Judge Subramanian openly displayed his frustration at Diddy's disregard for courtroom decorum, which legal experts quickly dissected on news outlets, speculating on whether it was intimidation or a display of control. After the judge's stern warning, Diddy remained motionless during the afternoon session. Witness Brianna Bongolan, a friend of Cassie Ventura, continued her damning testimony. She painted a grim picture of Diddy's Star Island mansion, alleging it was a paradise that harbored dark secrets. Brianna detailed Diddy's alleged control and abuse of Cassie, including an incident in summer 2018 where Cassie was supposedly confined for talking to a male friend. She recounted instances of Diddy's alleged rage, like throwing Cassie's phone in a physical altercation in October 2019 that left Cassie bruised. Brianna also testified about Diddy's extensive surveillance and a personal team that shadowed Cassie. She revealed that in March 2020, Diddy allegedly took Cassie's passport, making her feel trapped. Beyond Cassie, Brianna alluded to other young, aspiring women at Diddy's parties who would either disappear or return visibly shaken. After Judge Subramanian's thunderous warning on the afternoon of May 27th, the air in Diddy's private room with his lawyer, Mr. Miller, was thick with tension. Diddy ripped off his tie, his usual flamboyant facade replaced by a face contorted with anxiety and rage. "You see that, Miller? That old man is trying to bring me down," Diddy snarled, his hand clenching into a fist. "That nod, it meant nothing. Why is he making such a big deal out of it?" Mr. Miller, maintaining a calmer demeanor, took a sip of water. "Sean, you have to understand this is federal court. Any contact with the jury is considered interference. And you nodded at two of them." He set his glass down, looking directly at Diddy. "The situation isn't good. Bongolan's and Evans' testimonies have caused serious damage, coupled with your actions. The jury might already be swayed." Diddy stood up, pacing the room. "So, what now? We can't let me go to jail for these lies." He stopped abruptly, turning to Mr. Miller, a desperate, yet determined glint in his eyes. Is there a way, Miller? Can someone help us turn this around? Mr. Miller took a deep breath. He had anticipated this question. Sean, I have a contact, he said slowly, choosing his words carefully. Someone who specializes in handling delicate situations like this. They have experience in reaching out to jury members without leaving direct traces. The risk is extremely high, but it might be the only path to alter the outcome if you truly believe the current jurors are against you. Diddy understood immediately. He didn't blink. Money is no object, Miller, Diddy stated, his voice firm. Do whatever it takes. How much? Just name the price. I need those jurors on my side. I cannot fail. Mr. Osui, Miller nodded slowly. I'll make the call. But you have to understand, if this comes out, both you and I will face far more serious charges. This is a point of no return. Do it, Diddy ordered, his eyes seemingly catching a faint glimmer of hope in the desperate darkness. Make sure they understand this is a big opportunity for them, and for me. In the days that followed Diddy's snap agreement, Mr. Miller mysteriously disappeared from public view. He was absent from the court proceedings on May 28th and 29th, citing personal matters, leaving a junior attorney in charge. In reality, he was on a covert mission, navigating the back alleys of Los Angeles where money and influence could allegedly buy anything. On the night of May 29th, under the cloak of thick darkness and at a discreet location on the city's outskirts, Mr. Miller met with the two jurors Diddy had previously nodded at. A middle-aged woman named Brenda, with silver hair and a weary look, and a younger man named Mark, with glasses and a nervous demeanor. The meeting was meticulously arranged through Miller's contact, a shadowy intermediary who had prepared everything to perfection to avoid suspicion. There were no documents, no recordings, just a direct conversation laden with unspoken implications. Mr. Miller skillfully presented Diddy's misunderstanding, the immense pressure he was under. He spoke of Diddy's charitable contributions to the community, the opportunities he had created. Then the tone shifted, subtly mentioning a special opportunity for those willing to better understand the situation. Brenda was initially hesitant, worried about the legality and ethics. Is this jury tampering? She whispered, her eyes darting to Mark. Mark, appearing less experienced, seemed skeptical but also intrigued. Mr. Miller offered a faint smile. No, this is compensation for the valuable time and the difficulties you're enduring in this high-stakes trial. A generous thank you for your objective listening and understanding. He placed a thick envelope on the table. This is a small portion. The rest will be transferred after the trial concludes, if things proceed smoothly. Both Brenda and Mark stared at the envelope. In their eyes, an intense internal struggle unfolded. Principles of justice and ethics versus a sum of money that could change their lives. Eventually, exhaustion and temptation won. Mark's hand trembled as he picked up the envelope. Brenda nodded silently, her face a mask of reluctant acquiescence. On the morning of May 30th, Mr. Miller returned to the courtroom, looking a bit tired but with a triumphant glint in his eyes. He immediately sought out Diddy during a recess. "It's done, Sean," Mr. Miller whispered, almost inaudibly. "They agreed. Those two will listen to us. Just make sure you stay calm and don't cause any more trouble." Diddy allowed himself a small, self-satisfied, almost sinister smirk. He felt a wave of relief wash over him. Money, after all, was still the most powerful tool. After Mr. Miller's return to court on May 30th, an unexpected turn of events unfolded, as if fate itself were playing a cruel trick on Diddy. Although Diddy remained silent as per his lawyer's advice, a minor technical glitch blossomed into a devastating bombshell. On May 31st, as prosecutor Anya Sharma presented surveillance video clips from Diddy's mansion, a particularly damning segment played. It showed Diddy allegedly yelling at a young woman. But what no one anticipated was that another former Diddy bodyguard, whose loyalty to justice outweighed any monetary ties, had secretly provided a short, encrypted audio recording from a phone call Mr. Miller made on the night of May 29th. The recording, though not entirely clear, contained fragmented conversations alluding to two members, agreement, and money. Judge Subramanian received this information on the afternoon of June 1st. His face darkened. He immediately called for an urgent private hearing on the morning of June 2nd. There, the new evidence was presented, including the secret bodyguard's testimony and a preliminary analysis of the audio clip. He summoned Mr. Miller and Diddy, along with their respective legal teams. As the audio played, Mr. Miller's face turned ashen. Diddy tried to remain calm, but his eyes betrayed a growing panic. "Mr. Miller," Judge Subramanian stated, his voice ice-cold, "this evidence, though incomplete, indicates a blatant attempt to tamper with the jury. This is contempt of court and an undermining of the very foundation of justice." He turned to Diddy. "Mr. Combs, your conduct over the past days, from the nod to what we now suspect, is unacceptable. This court cannot tolerate jury bribery. I officially declare a mistrial." The small select group in the courtroom was stunned into silence. Mr. Miller stammered objections, but to no avail. Diddy felt his world collapsing around him. "Mistrial? No way!" he whispered, almost disbelieving his own ears. Judge Subramanian continued, his voice resonating with righteous anger. "I hereby order immediate additional charges against Mr. Combs and those involved for obstruction of justice and jury bribery. A new trial will be scheduled. An entirely new jury will be selected." The declaration of a mistrial and the new charges sent shockwaves through the American legal and entertainment world. News channels broadcast the breaking story simultaneously. "Diddy faces new charges. Mistrial declared due to suspected jury bribery." Sensational headlines screamed everywhere. The public was both shocked and outraged by Diddy's audacity. The process of replacing the jury began immediately, proving costly and time-consuming. The two jurors, Brenda and Mark, were separately summoned and rigorously questioned. While no direct evidence explicitly tied them to receiving money, their involvement was enough to remove them from duty. Their lives, despite any illicit gains, were irrevocably altered, now living in fear and infamy. Mr. Miller was also suspended from practicing law and faced his own independent investigation. Diddy, once an entertainment king, had now become a symbol of corruption and blatant disregard for the law. His self-satisfied smirk was gone. Only utter despair remained. The new trial began on July 15, 2025. The atmosphere was even heavier and more somber than before. Diddy now faced not only the old charges, but also the new accusations of obstruction of justice and jury bribery. His public image was utterly decimated. This time, the jury selection was even more stringent, with a rigorous vetting process to ensure no one could be swayed or compromised. Judge Subramanian ordered maximum security, with federal officers closely monitoring every movement inside and outside the courtroom. Diddy sat there, devoid of his arrogant confidence. His eyes were deeply sunken, his face gaunt, and his body seemed to have withered. The bribery scandal had dealt a devastating blow, not just to his image, but also to his spirit. The Hollywood stars who once supported him now maintained a deafening silence, avoiding any association. His business empire began to crumble, contracts canceled, partners turning their backs. The testimonies in the new trial were even more scathing. Prosecutor Anya Sharma not only represented the old evidence from Brianna Bongalan and Liam Evans, but also introduced new details, meticulously gathered after the bribery scandal. She specifically highlighted Diddy's reckless and desperate attempts, showcasing how far he was willing to go to escape justice. The new jury, highly vigilant, listened to every testimony with unwavering seriousness. There were no more furtive glances, no more ambiguous expressions, only absolute focus on discerning the truth. In the final days of the new trial, as the lawyers presented their closing arguments, Diddy looked at the jury, no glimmer of hope left in his eyes. He knew this time it was truly over. He had dug his own grave with his arrogance and desperate actions. As the jury began its deliberations on July 25th, Diddy felt a complete and utter collapse. With each passing day, he sank deeper into despair. The whole world seemed to be watching, awaiting the final act for a king who had brought about his own spectacular downfall. He faced not just imprisonment, but the complete destruction of his empire, his reputation, and everything he had ever built.